And what do policies look like when you get that majority? I mean, obviously, Medicaid expansion would be, I would imagine, at the top of your list,
Yeah.
given your personal experience and passion for it. What other policies do you think could differentiate the Democratic Party from the Republicans once you get
Yeah.
control?
I've been in the Georgia House for 9 years now, and essentially, I've been fighting for the same thing for the past 9 years. And so, this whole notion that anyone who is to the left of where Republicans are today, that they are communists, I think is the most ridiculous notion imaginable. What have I been fighting for the past 9 years? What have my Democratic colleagues in the Georgia House been fighting for? One, access to health care. Two, fully funding public education, where after the 2008 Great Recession, Republicans defunded public education by almost $1 billion, K through 12 education by up to $1 billion. And of course, most recently, they are defunding their rural school districts with this private school voucher scam. Three, economic security. For many, many years, I've worked on introducing a state level earned income tax credit, one of the most effective anti poverty measures that incentivizes people to work harder and to make more money. On the economic front, of course, we also have to work on expanding access to affordable housing. We passed some good bipartisan legislation this year to reduce the impact of private equity purchasing, so many affordable homes in Georgia and increasing the price. From a long-term perspective, especially as we're, in this AI revolution, on the tailwinds of this information revolution, energy is another critical aspect that I've been focused on as well. This year, I introduced two state level tax credits that would help accelerate the production and investment of clean energy sources modeled after federal tax provisions. But I think first and foremost, I think, at least in my mind, I certainly have a comprehensive legislative agenda that I would want to see move forward. But first and foremost, beyond above everything, I think we have to ensure that voters have a seat at the table with respect to our democracy. Right. I think democracy reform, especially in a place like Georgia, where we no longer have the protections of pre-clearance with respect to redistricting, right, is so important. So, one, making sure that every Georgian, every citizen has a right to vote without issue. Two, that we are taking money out of politics. The majority party a few years ago, they passed these leadership committees that essentially allow you to raise and spend unlimited amounts of money in coordination with candidates, right? It's created a flood of money into state politics in the state. And then third, independent redistricting reform. 2020 was the first year since 1965, in which Georgia could draw its maps for Congress, the state Senate, and the state House without first going through the Department of Justice or first getting those maps pre-cleared. What did the majority party engage in? Well, they engaged in racial gerrymandering. Congressional, state Senate, state House maps were all struck down by a federal court, requiring the state to redraw those maps. What then did they engage in? Partisan gerrymandering. And again, that's why essentially, it's my view that we have an unrepresentative state government that is not listening to voters who, in Georgia, there is bipartisan support for full Medicaid expansion. For healthcare, there is bipartisan support for investing in public education from cradle to career. There is bipartisan support for conservation and for being smart with respect to growth. But again, what we're seeing, unfortunately, right now is folks trying to outright each other in preparation for running for higher office, which is unfortunate.